How we doing? It's good old Uncle T, Solomon Tupu here on the air, and you're listening to Sit Down Mark's podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 133 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. It's your boy DB, man. It's time to sit down, man. I want to thank everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube. And I want to thank everybody listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and our friends over at Sports Wire Radio. Let me tell you, man, we got a late night edition for you tonight on the Sit Down Marks podcast, man. I'm excited, man. I've been waiting on this guy to really take over the scene, man, so I could bring him here and talk a little wrestling with him, man, and he's doing that right now. So tonight we're going to be talking about celebrating dubs, stacking belts on the way to the top, man. Today on the Sit Down Mars podcast, it's your boys, DB's here with you, and I got my man, Uncle T, the brand new Iron Spirit Pro champion. We're going to be talking about that later on in his Iron Spirit Pro career. But, you know, if you've seen independent wrestling right now, you've probably seen this guy on the card because he is literally everywhere. So welcome, Solomon Tupu. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. Just got out the nightclub at the casino making all this money. Just had to
Right.
stop by here real quick. We were supposed to do this like tomorrow or something, but I don't think I was available. So let's do it right now. Little podcast after dark. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
man,
after
I
dark or not.
appreciate it, man. I know you out there hustling, some of that money you got to shoot out of those money shooters at the show, you know what I mean? So I appreciate the time, man. So let's jump into it, brother, man. Where'd you get the name Solomon Tupu from?
So when I first started wrestling, my new name used to be Solomon King because I had a buddy in high school. His name was Solomon King, and I was like, that's a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of used it in a promo, and then I got a good reaction for that's a cool name, Solomon King, blah blah blah. So I used that. But as I started wrestling, I realized there's a lot of people with like last names King on the wrestling scene. You got Brody King, you got Eddie Kingston, Kofi King, King left and right, So
Right.
I was like, oh, I should probably change my name. So what more creative way to change the name King? I just turned it into Tupu, which is King and Samoan. So
Nice.
I got to keep the king, but I just got to make it a little bit more Samoan pizzazz to it, if you will.
Sure. I never knew that's what Tupu meant, man. That
Yeah.
brings so much more meaning to your name, man.
Oh
So I
yeah.
mean, Solomon is definitely cool, original, right there. So it's kind of weird, wondering where you where you got that from. So you're Black and Brave kid. You know, you graduated from the academy. Where are you based
Mhm.
out of right now?
I'm living in the Quad Cities, good old Davenport, Iowa.
Yeah, and probably the most famous wrestler in the world right now is from Davenport, Iowa.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
you know, everybody's got like a story about, training and day zero, all that kind of stuff. But just tell me, going into training, and you're jumping into like what part surprised you? What part was harder than you thought it was going to be about
Yes.
training?
The cardio, dude. you
Yeah.
know, I'm a big brother, man. Like my cardio's never been the best, probably been the
Yeah.
worst, but like I knew it was gonna be like I knew it wasn't gonna be easy because a lot of people come into wrestling like, oh, that's I saw that on TV, I can do that.
Mhm.
And then we do our day zero conditioning test, and it's like I've heard from guys in like the military and like sports and bodybuilding, powerlifting, they're like people have been through harder, but majority of what I've heard, they're like that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. So it's definitely like see if you how badly you want it. If you can
Right.
get through that first day, see how badly you want it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Weeds out the not so serious people too, I
Oh,
guess, right?
yeah,
Like
good. That's what we want. We don't.
right,
We
yeah.
want. We want you to quit because we don't want quitters in our
Right.
sport.
That's right. That's right. All right. So I've been checking out some of the podcasts and other things that you've been on lately. And me and you actually share a show we've been on
Yeah.
together, man. We were on Hot Dog and a Handshake with Sabotage Sean Logan here lately.
Good old, yeah, good
Yes,
old Tino Sabatelli, bro.
that's right, man. Uh, so let's talk about that, man. It kind of piqued my interest, man. He asked you, who were some of your favorite wrestlers, and you said the High Chief Peter Maivia. You said Rusev, and I always kind of felt like there was a little bit of Cena in your game. Is it? Would you put him probably up there with one of your favorites?
Yeah, I mean John Cena. Yeah, I mean
Yeah, of
like
course.
he's definitely on the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. You can't deny that. Like
Yeah.
I at one point in my career, very recently, I did get permission from the man himself to do his comeback. You know, the flying shoulder,
Yeah.
duck the line, the power bomb thing, five knuckle shuffle. He actually called me and asked me if I could use it. And
Because he
like
wants to carry on the legacy, right?
I think he's a fan or something. I don't know,
Yeah, he
something
probably
like
is.
that. Yeah,
You are pretty over.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, man. So let's rewind, man. So talk to me about the High Chief Peter Maivia because I'm a little bit of an old cat. So I've been around the game a little while. I've seen a little bit of Peter Maivia. What draws you to him?
uh, lineage, man.
Sure.
Like being Samoan is kind of the easy way to just say I'm Samoan, he's Samoan. So like,
Mm,
well, honestly, on a real note, my dad actually grew up watching wrestling in that time, and
yeah.
my dad would actually like be like, yeah, no, like the Wild Samoans, IV and all that. Like he's seen them live once, back in the day, like
Nice.
so so yeah, it's pretty cool. My pops like started into watching those guys, and it just trickled down to me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm the same, man. A lot of the wrestling that I like and go back and watch in the archives, and all these streaming services are stuff that my dad watched when I was growing up, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Um, so let's talk about Rusev, man.
Oh, let's talk about Rusev, bro.
Yeah, like why aren't we seeing this cat on TV, man? What you got any insight, man? I mean, you're over, man. You know anybody? Like,
Like
what's up?
he hit me up the other day, right? And he's just asking like what he should do with his career. I'm like, hey man, you're making your money, bro. Like, do your thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I want him to have all the belts. Like Miro, that's the Redeemer, man.
Yeah.
I've been the biggest fan of him since like he was Alexander Rusev back in NXT. I don't know why I've hooked myself to this guy so much, but I have.
Right.
Well, he's hilarious. If you see him in like backstage promos or even promos on TV, he's hilarious. Like he
Yeah.
knows how to talk. I think he's a great wrestler in the ring. Like I've stolen a lot of my stuff from him. So I've just been the biggest fan of his. Since, like he's number one on my list
Yeah.
of people I want to wrestle. Like top
Have you
number
have you done
one.
an accolade finish before?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, you have. I think I've seen one of them. So what about Cena, man? Like, obviously, Mount Rushmore, but what draws you to Cena? Just the entertainment factor,
I mean, you can't help but like just listen to the man. Like
right? He's
he's
good
like
at
the
everything.
yeah, he's the blueprint of like he's the face of WWE,
Yeah,
Like he's a home name for a reason. People talk about WWE, they think about John Cena. Now he's
right.
talking taking over Hollywood because his movies are pretty good, better than The Rock's, I think. Because I don't care for The Rock movies, you
Yeah,
know. But
right.
like his movies are great. His wrestling's great. He's got his like I don't know what he's gonna do with this last tour. His last year in wrestling, but I'm interested to see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. I wasn't going to go to the Rumble this year until Cena announced the kind of retirement tour, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh, I feel like I got to go now, right? Like,
Where is it?
Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, they got that whole deal with yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Rumble this year, Mania next year, I think, and then SummerSlam the year after, or
yeah.
one of them two.
The Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah, man. So it's kind of close to us, man. So we kind of got to go see John on the farewell tour. And let me tell you this about John too. Like when he says he's on the farewell tour, like I fucking believe him. Like I don't feel like he's going to hang around forever. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
but I do think they got to bring him back when they're on Netflix. Like it, I'd like
yeah.
the attitude John come back. That'd be fun. That'd be
I'd
fun.
like him to retire like in a ring and not wrestle anymore when he's done. But I'd still be okay seeing him like as like a Raw general manager or something, or maybe even a coach or what. I don't know what he would do,
Yeah.
but like when he retires, I'm still waiting for one wrestler to be like, yeah, I'm never wrestling again. I thought it was gonna be Shawn or Stone Cold, but
Mm.
that Saudi money got to Shawn and they
Yeah,
were in Texas for Stone Cold, so
right, yeah. And poor Sean, man, he was going to be in a tag team match with Hunter, and I think that's when he blew out his tricep or something and
yeah,
had to work the whole
yeah,
match. But
yeah,
yeah, it's wild, man. Money talks, blood money talks too.
yeah, it does. I mean, I wouldn't say no.
No, 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 man. I mean, so Peter Maivia, Rusev, Cena. You do any tape studying on anybody?
Like right now,
Yeah, like
I
anybody you're kind of like maybe somebody you've discovered, or maybe somebody you're kind of watching them maybe steal something from.
like I pick stuff from a lot of wrestlers. Like right now, currently, I'm not like studying anybody in particular. I'm just watching like clips and stuff on social media. But
Yeah,
so one guy that I'm a big fan of because he's a great wrestler. One of the I think the best big man on the indie scenes right now is Jake something. Because I've stolen a couple things from Jake, like his big like body block thing. I've taken that.
yeah,
That
like
I
shoulder
took.
tackle kind of thing. What he
No,
does?
like that big like that big what's it called, the his Vader, like he just like that big belly bump thing.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
yeah, like I've taken that from him. I don't do it on the same shows out of respect because one, out of respect, two, his is cooler than mine, so I could never do that. But
right.
yeah, yeah, no, Jake's one guy that I have taken stuff from. But currently no, like I'm not watching anybody like live
Yeah,
and stuff.
Jake too, man. It's kind of like your peer more
Oh,
than
dude,
kind of like
dude. Jake's he's freaking awesome.
Yeah, he really is, man. He really is. So let's talk a little bit about your gimmick, man. It's Uncle T now. If any Iron Spirit Pro fans are watching or listening, I think Iron Spirit Pro might be the only place that you're still the Dragon of the Pacific, Solomon Tupu. I think everywhere else you're Uncle T now, Solomon Tupu. Is that would I be correct in saying that?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of Uncle T influence, and I think a little bit of So, but it's all good. So let's talk about Uncle T, man. So you coming out, you're shooting money. You're looking like a pimp. You got
Hmm.
like 14 pairs of sunglasses on. You're dropping them all as you go.
Yeah,
I'm exaggerating, but
no, you're not.
you're looking like you're coming in to steal the show. Looking like you're coming in to make the most money, steal the wrestlers, whoever their girl, and leave town kind of deal. But you get a lot of excitement. You get a lot of anticipation now when you're coming out because there's a lot of production going on with you got the fur coat, like I said, and all this stuff going on. So, I heard word that maybe Danny Daniels might have had a little hand in this gimmick, man. Let's talk about Uncle T.
Yeah, Danny was a huge help in it. Like, so I'll start it from the beginning. Um, when I was doing the Dragon of the Pacific everywhere,
Yeah.
like it was working, but I never felt connected to it. And I talk to my boys about it all the time. Like I just feel like my boys, my coaches, everybody. I feel like I'm just Samoan guy number two. And at the time on the Indies, Jacob Fatu was running the Indies, and I was like, I can't do the Samoan monster as cool as he can. I
Mm,
can't do it any better than that. So I was like, well, what can I do to kind of be myself? And then like me and my me and my buddies would joke around. They'd be like, yeah, you should be like a Boy Scout, or you should like do this, be like right, do this or that, or you should be a pimp. And I'm
sure.
like, yeah, pimp, yeah, all right, a pimp would work. And then I forgot which AAW show it was, but it was me, Danny, and Chuck Smooth,
Mhm.
and the three of us were talking, and I was like, "Yeah, I feel like I should do something different." And then Chuck and Danny at the same time were like, "Well, why don't you just be a pimp? you know, like just get a big fur coat and
Yeah,
just have
like
some
they saw it
fun."
on you.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, sure. And so I played around with it. I debuted Uncle T like a year and a half ago at AAW,
Mhm.
and I just ran with it since. And right now, like I don't like using the word pimp because I'm not a pimp. I'm
Gotcha.
just the way I see it is like I'm just literally just like the fun uncle.
Sure.
I'm a bad influence on people. Like I just come to have a good time and have
Yeah.
fun, give gifts everywhere, throw money around, and just have a great time. I go to the casino every single night, and I make hella money, so that's why give it to the people. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Good
So yeah,
time, good time. Party uncle brings the party, excitement, fun wherever you go, and
absolutely.
that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
are you enjoying this gimmick? You liking this one?
Oh, dude, I feel like it's me.
You feel
Like
like this is it, huh?
I'm
Yeah,
having so much fun doing this.
yeah. Like, and y- uh, I always say this on my podcast too. Like, not that I'm like this experienced like dude or whatever, but I've been around wrestling a long times, man, and I feel like I know when people are comfortable in what they're doing,
Yes.
and like really laying into it and not really thinking about it, just kind of letting loose, man. I feel like you're, you know, kind of doing that right now. So, um, yeah, so I think that's getting over really well. You got some new tights and gear and stuff to go with that. So
And
um
14 glasses.
yeah, right. Yeah, 14 glasses. Um so you getting booked at a lot of places, man. You're booked all over the place. Instagram every night, every weekend. It's wrestling road trip for the love of the game, right? You know what I
Yep.
mean? You're
Yep.
constantly on the road, man. And it's as an indie wrestler, that's what you want. That means you're getting booked. You're busy. You're making money. You're getting your name out there. So tell me about the road trips, man. You enjoy logging the miles.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Road trips are fun, especially when you're with the boys, and they're always long, and like they're never not gonna be. So, most of the
Right.
time I enjoy them, and sometimes I don't. That just comes with the business.
Sure.
And but when you're with your buddies, if a 5 hour drive feels like a 10 minute drive.
Yeah. What's your like go-to road snack?
Af Pre-show, we usually stop at like a McDonald's or something, but I usually have like a energy drink. Like I'm on an Alani kick right now, so usually it's an Alani,
Okay.
and preferably something light like a number 7, or like a little what's it called, the those one bars or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
yeah.
post show, it's always a good old chalky milk and some powdered donuts, preferably a yoo-hoo.
Nice. There you go. Nice.
Mhm.
You're a Yoo-Hoo fan. I love it.
Oh, I love a yoo-hoo.
Um, so what's your like go-to gas station? Like when you're driving down the road, you're going to a show, you're like, oh, I want to stop at a Casey's or like a, whatever. Like what's your go-to?
It used to be a Casey's, but
It
like,
did.
cause I used to be in the car with one called Manders all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So Casey's was like you didn't have a choice but go to a Casey's. But
Right.
I've burned out on Casey's. Right now, I love Quick Store or Quick Trip.
Mhm.
Those are like the go tos if I can find it. But usually Love's is good. Um, Pilot's good. I love a good old come and go for the laugh.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. They always
Uh,
got some good stuff. There's a new
yep.
one out there, man. It's called Jack Flash.
I've never heard of
I don't
that.
know if you've seen one of those, man. They're popping up all over the Midwest, so you'll see them, man. Like,
Okay.
give you a little tidbit on these things. Like you go in, dude. It's kind of like a new age gas station. It's kind of like you go in and they got Pizza Hut on like ready. They got
Wow.
chicken ready. They got like sub sandwiches and stuff ready. And you go through and you like check yourself out, and like it's a very quick like experience. So stop at
Wow.
one of those at
Yeah.
some point.
I'll have to, yeah, if it's around downtown.
Is there one you're like, no, fuck that place. I'm never stopping there.
There's this one gas station in Tennessee. It was like a chain gas. I forgot what it was called, but Dude,
Yeah.
I walked in. It was the most like just disgusting gas station I've ever been to in my life. Like I'm pretty sure the place got robbed before we got there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was, but I just try to avoid it. I'll know it when I see it.
Right. I always try to avoid shells. I don't know why, but I always feel like
Yeah, shells are
the
shells are
bathrooms
alright.
are usually a little sketchy, and
Yep.
so
I don't
but
really care for a shell.
yeah, right. Um so let's talk about indies, man. Like who you want to wrestle. You've wrestled just about everybody. You're all over the place. Like is anybody left on the indies that you
Oh
kind
yeah,
of want to mix it up with?
there's a million people, man. Like
Okay.
I said his name earlier, Jake something. He's on the list. Like,
Okay.
I'd love to get in the ring with him because he's the man. Um, there's a guy in Chicago style wrestling. His name's uh, Rafael Quintero,
I knew
something
you
like
were going to
that.
say his name. I knew it. Man, he's
Rafi's the
great, dude.
man.
Yeah.
He's only been in the business for like a year or so, and he's already been on TNA and done so much cool stuff. Like he's definitely on the list.
Mhm.
Um, Matt Fitchett in St. Louis, he'll be cool to get in the ring with. I'm sure that'll
Okay. Yeah.
happen sooner than later.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of guys I'm leaving out that I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have said his name or whatever.
Yeah.
But, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Sure. Right. Before we get too much into your career, man, let's talk about. I believe this might be the only faction you've ever been in, man. Hate Keepers Up, man. Let's talk about
Yep.
your boys.
Yep.
You know, was this formed in CSW, Chicago
Yep.
style? And that's
Yep.
kind of like where it kind of like took off. And, explain to me how that kind of come together really quick.
So his name's Hades. He came up to us. He was like, we'd like to start something. If you guys have any ideas, let us know."
Yeah.
And then we're all like, "Well, we're always at the show at the same time, anyways. Why don't we just start a group?" So we pitched it, and then it was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And originally, the name was the Black and the Brave Army. Or like Black and Brave Army,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're going to represent our
Yeah,
academy.
represent. We're gonna walk up with our
Yeah.
tracksuits and represent. And then we realized, like, that's kind of lame. Not like the Black and Brave lame. Like, I'm just me personally. I'm not a fan of like, yeah, I'm from this place, so I'm
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
this. Like people know we're Black and Brave. We don't have to throw it in their face. They already know.
Yeah.
Like, who
Sure.
cares?
Sure.
And it was like that was kind of like a generic name for our group because like I said, people already know it. So we wanted it to be something like make it ourselves. So
Yeah.
we brainstormed a bunch of ideas, and I don't have the receipts for it, but I'm almost 100% positive that I'm the one that came up with the name Hate Keepers. Uh, Conan, Jay, Shane, and Shug will say otherwise,
Mhm.
but I'm talking right now, and they're not, so I win. And I created the name the Hate Keepers.
There it is.
Yeah, so yeah, I came up with that name and we just ran with it. We had shirts made. We still have a couple shirts laying around.
Yeah.
I think we've been doing it for like about like a year and a half, 2 years now, something
Yeah.
like that.
How'd you guys come up with putting the twos in the air?
Oh, so we just it just came to us naturally.
Yeah.
We didn't steal it from anybody at all.
Like Roman
No.
and them are doing the ones, we're gonna do the twos.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. There it is funny you say that because there is this group in I think they're in Casey, the Premier. You know those
Oh
guys?
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, because they actually started doing it after we started doing it,
Yeah.
which is funny because we like Bishop's. I love SK Bishop. He's the man. I can't say a bad thing about him.
Right,
Campbell
right.
Myers, on the other hand, like I don't know about that guy. He always just
Sued.
he always just steals stuff and all that. I don't know. Somebody's got to get him in check or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, yeah.
all honesty though, we're huge fans of Trevor Lee, and we started watching Trevor Lee matches, and I have to give credit to where it's due.
Okay.
Shane Boucher was the first one. We've already been fans of him before,
Yeah.
but Shane Boucher was the first one to put it in the group chat of like his promos and matches and stuff. So I'll give credit to where it's due.
Right, yeah.
So we
'Cause
just became huge fans of Trevor Lee, and he'd always just do the double peace signs, and
that's right, yeah. He'd
you
always
know,
kinda like hold his tights and put the two up or
oh
something like
yeah, and
that.
he
Yeah,
just
yeah.
he just walk out of Grillo just breathing
Yeah.
out of his mouth, and like so yeah, no,
It
Trevor,
fits
we
though.
definitely took that from him, and
Yeah.
we take a lot of stuff from Trevor Lee too, like the boys. Well, I say we. more of the boys than I can because I'm not as athletic as them. So they do the PKs, the Trevor Lee crossbodies, the double stomps, and all that. You know,
Yeah. Right. So what year are you on, Solomon? Out of the academy, how many years have you been wrestling now?
I want to say 7.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm counting 6, but I'm pretty sure it's 7. I'm gonna say
Okay.
7.
All right.
I graduated. No, okay, I think it's 6 because I graduated 2018, summer of 2018, and that's 24. So that'll be, yeah, 6. I think it's 6.
Okay. So how you feel? How you feel about your independent wrestling career so far? I mean, you want a contract, right?
Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So how you feel your independent wrestling is going so far?
Um, I don't want to use the word comfortable because that's, I feel like, a dangerous word in wrestling.
It
Because
is.
once you feel comfortable, then you're not progressing.
Yeah. That's
So
like
I
saying we'll do what we did last time with the other show, right?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Like I'd like to be doing more, and that is nobody's fault but mine. And
Hmm.
which everybody would like to be doing more.
Sure.
So that just falls in my lap to do more. Not like I'm not doing enough. Like I've got my handful of shows that I have on rotation, which I'm very lucky and happy about.
Yeah.
Uh, Iron Spirit included. So
Right.
like I have my handful of shows that I'm doing a lot. But you always want to do more. Like
Sure.
you always want to quadruple book yourself on the calendar and just have as
Right.
much being done as possible. Because yes, I'd like a contract, but at the end of the day, like I've said this a million times, my me personally, my end goal in wrestling is to make a living off of wrestling, preferably as a wrestler.
Hmm.
But if that's not in my cards,
Sure.
then like a coach, a producer, if I was 250 pounds lighter, a referee, like
Yeah.
any like a backstage, I don't know,
I
anything that
feel
I
you.
can be making a living off of wrestling, I will be happy with, but
Right.
preferably as a wrestler.
So you want to be involved in wrestling, preferably as a wrestler, making money where you don't have to have a real job. Basically,
Yep.
is what yeah.
Yep.
I feel that. I feel that. So let's talk a little bit about what you're wrestling, man, and what's going on right now. You kind of want to roll. I wouldn't say kind of. I mean, you really are. You're stacking. You're celebrating a lot of wins, stacking up a lot of belts. If I think I have them uh, correct, you're holding about 3 belts right now. The
Yeah.
Iron Spirit. You're WrestleMax champion,
Yep.
and also Madhouse.
Yep.
How's it feel to be holding all that gold, man?
Heavy, man. Things are heavy as hell.
Yeah,
I'm looking at them right now. They're pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah, no, man. Like it's cool. Like promotions trusting me with their titles and all
Yeah,
that, which is really, it's pretty surreal. It's very eye opening because,
yeah.
like, I don't know. A couple years ago, I had one belt, New Wave at the time. I had
New
their
Wave
heavyweight
Pro,
title
yeah.
for about a
That was
year.
how I seen you for the first time, honestly. I seen you
Yeah.
as a champion. I was like, oh, who's this Tupu guy here? Yeah,
Yeah, New Wave was my bread and butter. That was a place where I really got to find myself in wrestling.
nice.
So it was cool having that opportunity with them.
Yeah,
And then years later, now I have 3. So just companies across the country just giving me their trust is pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, it's got to feel like a little bit of like, hey, I'm gaining some traction. I'm getting somewhere because you're looking over. I'm assuming all the belts are at your house or whatever.
Oh yeah, they're right next to me right now in my
So you're
room.
looking at all of them.
Yeah.
They're inside your home, in your possession. You gotta look over and feel
Oh, let's
like,
see.
man, I'm
See it.
I'm doing something all right in
Let's see that. I
independent
don't know if you
wrestling.
can
You
see.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
nice,
I
good
don't know if you can
display
see that
there.
or not.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
nice. So yeah, so that's gotta feel pretty good, right? Like you're actually doing something. Have you has anybody flown you out to wrestle for their company yet?
I have been flown out to Alaska once before
Okay, cool.
because my parents, they live in Anchorage, Alaska. Because my dad was in the army and he retired, and then what he did in the army, this place in Alaska was like, do you want to like be the head of our division, if you will,
Hmm.
and but still be a civilian? You'll be retired, but you'll still be working for us and making money. So
Yeah,
he was like, yeah, and they moved to Alaska. They've been there for a few years now, And it's a really cool promotion. It's called 907 Pro Wrestling. Like they're so sick. Like
Is that the
I've
area code?
yes.
Okay, got you. Okay, just
Yeah,
checking.
like I've wrestled for them like 2 3 times now,
Yeah,
and yeah, good locker room, great crop of guys and gals, like really good people. So yeah, they this last time I was there was like I think it was last September they flew me up, so that was pretty cool, you know.
yeah,
But until that, besides that, like nah, like I've driven everywhere, you know.
right. Nice, man. You got. I know I've seen you on AEW Dark. I think you got some little extra work, man. You getting some of that work? You interested in doing some of that, or
Oh
you know,
yeah,
or more of that?
yeah. If Tony Khan came to me tomorrow with the contract, I'd be an idiot to say no.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
I mean, we've
That's
seen a
it.
lot of people on the Indies. AEW was in Champaign, Illinois, last night
Yep.
for Dynamite, and a lot of guys were on there.
Yeah,
Um,
that Moxley segment had a good like rogue gallery of professional wrestlers.
it did, yeah, 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 it did, especially in the Midwest, man. You know,
Oh yeah.
so yeah. I know you like a little music, man. I've seen you been hitting a little Zach Bryan lately. How was that concert?
Best concert I've ever been to in my
Get
entire
out of
life.
here, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach Bryan's the man. It was me, Jay, Shane, and Campbell. We drove. Campbell Myers lives in KC. Me, Boucher, and Marson drove to KC last week. We're there all week for the concert, and
Yeah.
at the T-Mobile Arena. It was so sick. Like that dude had his working boots on, man. Like
Nice.
none other. It was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm here he's drawing some big crowds too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. How was your experience working with AEW that time you got to be on? I think you were on Dark at the time.
Yeah, it was cool,
You got a
man.
match.
Like I saw some familiar faces. I had a match with
Hmm.
Marshall about a year ago. I want to say at AAW. And when I was down there, he was there and he remembered me, which I thought was super cool. Like he
Right.
came up to me, we're busting balls, talking, having a good conversation. And I'm pretty sure he's like a big reason why I got that dark match because you know he's works there.
Sure.
The guys we wrestled Cage of Agony. I know Toa Leona. Like we met like a few years ago at a GCW show, and he's a good dude. Good to see him again. Uh, I'm sure. Oh, this they're my buddies are gonna bust my balls for name dropping so much, but I don't care because this is cool
Yeah.
for me to say out loud.
Do it.
Uh, Will Osprey remembered me. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
dope.
yeah, because he was at that CSW show,
Yeah.
and me and
The
like
night he was
everybody
a
was.
surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
surprise! Like I lost a bet to Conan because he said that he was going to be there. I didn't believe him. Now Conan doesn't have to pay gas money with me for like 6 7 months. But yeah. So
I'd have took
he
that bet too. I'd be like, man, no way Will
yeah,
Ospreay's
I'm like,
here,
come
man.
on,
Come on.
bro.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay's gonna show up here? Yeah, right. He walked
Yeah.
through the door. I was like, damn it. But
Nice.
no, everybody. I remember he walked in the back, and everybody was walking up to him, asking him like wrestling questions and this and that. And
Yeah.
obviously, you know, that's you do that. But I was like, you know what? I like he's here for a short time. I'm just gonna have a good conversation with the guy. And I
Mhm.
walked up to him and was like, hey man, can I ask you a question? And he's like, yeah, of course, bro. What would you like to ask me
Right. Of
about?
course, Bruce.
And I was like, because I'm a diehard fan of Assassin's Creed. So I
Okay.
go, what's your favorite game, Assassin's Creed? And he lit up like a Christmas tree, dude. Like
Yeah.
me and him were talking about Assassin's Creed for like 10, 15 minutes. He was talking about it so much, he made
Yeah.
me think I wasn't a real fan because he was
It
going
is-
so in depth with it.
yeah.
So I'm pretty sure like I kind of like got permanently stuck in the back of his head because
Sure.
it was me and Manders had a really good match in front, and he said it was really good. So that was like, oh, that's awesome to hear. And then
Nice.
at that AEW Dark, like a few months later, he was walking. He looked at me. He gave me a big hug. He was like, "Good to see you again, bro." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, and then look, I like he did that in front of a bunch of people. And like, that's my boy. What's up, dude? And no.
Yeah. 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 Oh, yeah.
But no,
See?
yeah, that was pretty cool. For that little moment was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that
forgot
is
what we were
cool.
talking about.
Yeah, yeah, me neither.
I was just
What
marking
you
out
were
and
talking
dropping
about,
names.
yeah, what you're talking about is way better. So,
No, yeah.
all right, once again, my name is DB. I got Solomon Tupu here with me today. I want to thank everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube, and everybody listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and SportsWire Online Radio. Um, Solomon, man, let's get into it, man. I know there's a lot of Iron Spirit Pro fans watching and going to be listening to this pod. Um, so let me put a little bit of everything in a nutshell, man. Maybe you can help me with this. So, you've been with Iron Spirit Pro for a few years now. I feel like I've been announcing you for quite a while.
Mhm.
You were a heel in the beginning, you know, and you were, the big bad Samoan in our promotion, kicking ass. And you had matches with a lot of the best talent and competition that came through Iron Spirit Pro, and like I said, you were a heel until the fans decided you weren't no longer going to be a heel. No choice but to, a little behind the curtain here, no choice but to turn you face because, you're just getting over, man. And the crowd was loving you. And so now you're a face. And that's when I felt like now you'd been there a while, you had a lot of good matches, man, but like it seemed like to me kind of like that face turn was really when the momentum kind of started going on your side. The fans all on your side. Um, would you agree with that? That's kind of like when like the momentum really picked up was when,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
I could agree. Like I can even chalk it up to like that in turn helping me like kind of find myself as a wrestler. Um, because I always saw Iron Spirit as a really good place for me to like throw stuff at the wall, see if it sticks.
sure.
And like
It's
it
perfect
Iron,
for that.
yeah, Iron Spirit's helped me out so much in my career with like the way I can like truly like I don't know what's the word. I don't know. It's helped me a lot with my career and my character. So
Sure.
that face turn definitely helped out because I'm a face at a lot of places, and
Mhm.
it just plays hand in hand to where like, oh, I can do that and it'll work here. Let me try it here. Oh, I can do that and it'll work here. Let me try it. Like it
Yeah.
all like bounces around, and Iron
Yeah.
Spirit's definitely like one of the better places I've done that at.
Yeah. She were like this big nasty heel, and I don't. I mean, I don't remember you losing too much. I feel like you haven't really lost hardly any much at all.
I think
And
I've only lost once.
I think
Yeah,
once CJ maybe.
yeah, CJ, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the only one I can really think of.
Mhm.
So so everybody's like, this guy's dominating. He's looking great, and so yeah, the kind of slow, gradual, you know, uh, um, um, turn, I guess, by the fans of wanting you to be a baby face. So you turn baby face. You basically fought your way, into the number one contendership talk.
Mhm.
I believe it was you, maybe Zach Abstract, but you were really on momentum in getting that number one spot. So they were setting up for a big match between you and the current Iron Spirit Pro champion at the time, Craig Mitchell. It was going to be a big match, probably one of the biggest in Iron Spirit Pro history. But then as luck would have it, things happen. People get hurt. Craig got hurt, and the title goes vacant.
Mhm.
So, so things change a little bit. And then we are mainstreaming to Iron Spirit Pro's biggest show of the year, which was July 20th, this past year, 2024. It was, so we decided on triple threat match for the Iron Spirit Pro Championship. It was you versus Trevor Outlaw versus Shane Boucher, man. Talk a little bit about that night, man. It's always our biggest show of the year. Tons and tons of fans. I felt like that night, like everybody was like bated breath, like, it was finally going to be your time, man. And it did end up being your time. So, and you finally get the dub. Just talk about that night, man. Winning the belt, for the first time, and now it's in your living room. So
Yeah.
talk to me about that night.
Pretty cool, man. Like, Boucher is one of my best friends, so it's easy to have a good match with him. And
Definitely.
me and Trevor Outlaw, like, we've saved professional wrestling more than once. Like, you get me and Trevor in a ring together,
It's a movie.
they're gonna throw babies in the air, man. Like
Right. Yeah, it's a movie.
magic's bound to happen. Like one of these days, me and Trevor will start our own promotion, and it'll be the best promotion in the world, and it'll run WWE out of business. But
Sure.
I'm losing my train of thought. It was cool, man.
Yeah.
Like the match was great, and that crowd is always good. That's our mania. Like that crowd's always good. It's so much fun, and just winning that belt was kind of like it's pretty surreal, dude. Like you said, I've been with Iron Spear for a few years now. Like it was, I think it was actually a month ago. I just out of curiosity, I went into our messages and I just
Mm.
scrolled to the very beginning. It was like I want to say 2021, 22 maybe, that I got messaged for the first time by Iron Spirit, like, hey, we'd like to, take a chance, or not take a chance, like, we'd like to bring you in for a match, see what we can do, blah, blah, blah. And then just like fast forward to now, like I have the championship. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And me and Craig, I'm sure we'll get in the ring one day or sooner than later. But I think it was supposed to be me and him for that title.
Yeah.
The results would have been the same, obviously, out of one.
Well, of
But
course.
like whenever he's back and happy and healthy, like I'd be more than willing to put the belt up against him, as fair a fight as possible. So you know, good health and wishes to him. Hope he gets better soon. Like, and eventually we'll have a banger. Obviously, two big
Yeah.
brothers going at it.
Right, man. It's one of those things too, where the hard work's paying off. You coming out on top here, and literally last weekend, man, you had your first title defense. We were at the Sweet Corn Circus, which is a big corn
Yeah.
festival in Normal, Illinois. You was able. We did a card on Saturday, a card on Sunday. You were the main event Sunday night, and you was able to defeat John Bonhart and retain
Mhm.
for your first defense. So, how did that go, man? And talk to me about that finisher. Is that like the new finishers? Is that kind of like a flatliner or something?
I'm playing around with
You
things.
play okay, yeah.
I'm playing around.
Festivals,
I
yeah,
want to kind of get away from the Uranagi because every Samoan guy does the Uranagi. I'm
right,
trying to figure out something different, which is easier said than done. Like it's kind of like everyone's calling it a flatliner. It was supposed to be a big ending, which it's kind of a big ending's kind of like a flatliner, I guess. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, no, because I'm a fan of Big E, and
sure,
I used to do Big Ending as all the time as a falsy, and a good there's a fan came up to me once. He goes, "Why don't you start using the Big Ending as a finish?" And I was like, "Ah, man, I'll think about that." So
yeah,
I threw it at the wall, see if it stuck. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll see. Maybe I'll be with the Uranagi for the rest of my life. Who knows? But yeah, no, that was though that Sweet Corn Festival. Those are always so much fun. Like my favorite part about those shows is there's so many dogs everywhere. Like
right.
I remember last year there's like 75 dogs everywhere. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Just puppies left and
every other
right.
couple had a dog with them. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
I
was
remember
that was
that
like
because as we're breaking down, you guys are talking about the dogs that are all around.
yeah, we're making this dog do tricks on top of a chair or whatever. It was great. But
Yeah,
no, yeah, no, me and John Bonhart, good old John Bon Jovi,
Johnny
Germany.
B.
Yeah, Johnny B. That's a new one. The Salamander Man, as
I
we call
heard
him
that
back
one.
home. Yeah, we call him the Salamander Man back home. Yeah, we had a good match. It was decent, good time. I like wrestling John. He's always fun, easy to
Yeah,
go with.
yep.
Yeah, and that, like I said, thank God we were under like a tarp or a canopy or
Yes.
whatever. Because last year we weren't, but it wasn't as hot as it was this year. So thank God that we were.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was way more hot, way more sticky this year, but that being under that canopy,
Yeah,
made just a ton of difference. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, yeah. Little breaking news that we're actually bringing old Johnny B, old Salamander Man, on the podcast next month. So
Yeah.
I had to ask him about the nicknames for sure.
Salamander Man.
I like John, man. He's such a good dude, man, and we like a lot of the same music. So we
Oh
usually
yeah, no,
usually
me and John talk about music. We're going to a Day to Remember concert together in October, so that'll be
that
a
was
good
my
time.
next question, dude. What other concerts you hitting next?
Yeah, Day to Remember will be coming up soon.
Nice.
The Applauding You will be in Davenport, I think November, something like that. So we'll
Yeah.
probably hit that one up. I haven't been to a lot of concerts. Zach Brand's the second concert I've ever been to, man.
Like
Like
ever in life?
ever in life, I
Oh
just never
wow.
got around to him. So that's what the Day to Remember was actually the first time I ever went. It was me, Conan, and Marston. Like the three of us went to a Day to Remember like 2 3 years ago. The music was great. The venue was awful because
Ugh,
it was like an amphitheater,
yeah.
but like it was definitely only for like country music because they're like, don't jump around, stay in your seats. And I'm like,
Oh,
because like the openers were Bad Omens and Beartooth. Like, what do you mean? Like, why are we gonna sit in our on our hands?
yeah. Yeah.
Data remembers headlining. Are you
Right.
stupid? So we tried to sneak into the pit, but we end up going from like the nosebleed seats all the way right in front of the pit because we would just sneak in front of everybody and just like be crazy. So the music then was good, but the venue was awful. Zach Bryan, like even though it's the second concert, it's kind of like not fair for me to say it's the best one I've ever went to, but it is because
Yeah.
like even my buddies that went with me, like they said it was the best concert they went to, and they go to concerts every single week.
Sure.
So that was awesome. We got a day to remember coming up, plotting you, and I'm sure there's other stuff going around that we'll probably hit up.
Yeah. Well, you're a pretty big guy, man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right.
Hot Mulligan is one of my favorite groups ever.
Hot mulligan.
I put my buddies on to Hot Mulligan, and they're great. They're awesome. So I'd
Yeah.
like to hit up a concert of one of theirs soon.
Okay. I mean, you're a self-admitting big guy. Tell me how you sneak down into the mosh pit or whatever. Like,
I
what do
just do this one.
you
I
just
put my
creep?
hand over my eyes, and I just keep on
Yeah.
walking, bro. If
Just
I
act like
can't
you know
see
where you're
you,
going.
yeah, if I can't see you, you can't see me. I'm
Right.
like a cat.
All right, so I tried to get some inside info. We're not quite sure who you're going to be defending the title against on September 27th at the Connie Link Amphitheater in Noma, Illinois. Will be your next defense of the Iron Spirit Pro Championship. So we'll be looking forward to that. So Solomon Tupu and all your socials, basically, is that what it is?
Yeah, pretty much everything. Yeah.
Yep. Well, Solomon, as the old saying goes, man, at the end of the day, the
Days
day's
gotta
got to
end.
end.
Yes,
That's right.
sir.
So I'm gonna be stealing that one from you because that one makes me laugh. So
Yeah. Yeah, man.
now, thanks for the time today, brother, man. I know we're running a late night, and I appreciate you joining me after work, man. And
Yeah.
I'm excited that you're man, you know what I mean? So when you come out with the belt on around your waist, like that makes me happy, man. That's like
Yep.
old school shit. I love that,
Yep.
man.
Yeah,
So
man.
don't ever stop doing that, brother.
I
So
mean, yeah, like I do it because it can fit, man. Like if those buckles couldn't clip, they'd be on my shoulder.
right, yeah. I've always said, if you're coming out to talk, man, put the belt on your shoulder. You know what I mean? But if you're coming out to kick ass, man, put it around your waist, man,
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
yeah, that
Yeah.
shows you there for business. So
Yep. 100%.
all right, Uncle T, brother, thank you for joining us today, man. Thanks everybody listening on Spotify, Audible, Apple Podcasts, SportsWire, Sports Radio. Thank you everybody for joining us late night tonight on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back here in just a couple of weeks. We're going to be talking about WWE Bash in Berlin and also AEW All In and All Out. And yeah, as you heard here, we'll be talking to old Salamander man Johnny Bonhart in September. So for Solomon Tupu, I am the Dirty Bird. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Appreciate it. And we'll see you guys down the road.
Ooh.
Top guys out.